Hello, welcome to another edition of Issues with JIDE. Here we'll talk about actions and inactions of those that shape our political and national landscape and how these impact us positively or otherwise. I'm Ibrahim Sheta. Today on the show, Nnamdi Kanu pleads for calm in SouthEast ahead of Supreme Court judgment. Also, Naira fell to record low in official market at 1,116 Naira to the dollar. And later on the show, Kaduna State approves castration for rapists. In the course of the program, we take your questions, but first, subscribe to our YouTube channel and drop your questions in the comment section. It's very important to mention that we can only read comments with proper names and are about the issues discussed. I have joining me via Zoom, the maestro himself, Babajide Kolade-Otitoju. Good to see you again this evening, BKO.
Yeah, good evening, Ibrahim, and good evening, our esteemed viewers.
Yes, so rising from a meeting with the proscribed IPOB leader Nnamdi Kanu, his brother Emmanuel Kanu said that the IPOB leader directed him to caution Biafra agitators and security agents to be security conscious, in days ahead of the Supreme Court judgment on the suit between him and the Nigerian government. He also added that Mr. Kanu and IPOB believed in peaceful restoration of Biafra through non-violence and should not be associated with anyone fomenting trouble in the Southeast region and in Nigeria in general. BKO, what's your reaction to this?
Yes, Kanu, for some time, has been dissociating himself from the violence that is happening in the Southeast. Remember, in a handwritten letter, he put an end to that form of civil defense, civil disobedience that is called sit-at-home, which his group instituted in the first place. The first thing they did was to say, okay, there will be sit-at-home only on days that Nnamdi Kanu is brought to court. But in spite of IPOB's clear directive that sit-at-home should only be on days that Nnamdi Kanu is brought to court, the traditional ruler of Enugu Aguleri, one of the most respected traditional rulers in Nigeria today, Eze Chukwuemeka, Nnamdi Kanu agreed to put in writing his directive that there should no longer be sit-at-home at all in the Southeast, whether on the days that is brought to court or on the days that is not brought to court. Sit-at-home on Mondays, he cancelled in his writing, in his own handwriting, so that there will be no ambiguity as to whether Nnamdi Kanu still wants sit-at-home in any guise. So, in that meeting attended by the respected Eze Chukwuemeka and others, was the first sign that Nnamdi Kanu does not want violence. He's not happy that his people are being killed. These are people that he fights for. It will bring him no joy to see people killing them in the guise of sit-at-home. So he said no more sit-at-home in the Southeast. Now, to follow this up, he suspects that as we move closer and closer action, there has to be, he has to be brought to court for his extradition to be subjected to the dictates of the law. But in this case, the Nigerian government was not interested in any court case to validate his extradition. They forcibly brought him to Nigeria, and he won that case at the level of appeal. Now the matter is at the Supreme Court. And his suspicion is that in the days leading to the September 15 judgment, there could be a spike in violent activities with some people purporting to commit violence in his name. And he said, look, this is the time for us to be vigilant. Let's not play into the hands of people who would want to use the fact of my matter being before the courts or approaching a judgment to escalate violence in the Southeast. So he doesn't want that. And he sent a message through his brother that they should tell his people to stay calm at this point and not get involved in any kind of violence that could be erroneously attributed to him. So this is the point that he's making. He's happy to patiently wait for that judgment day, and he will be happy to see the Southeast calm and in peace in the days leading to the judgment, so that no one will say, oh, it is Kanu supporters who are fomenting trouble because the judgment is near, because they are trying to twist the judiciary to give a judgment that is favorable to him. I think that, as I've always demanded, Kanu's matter can best be resolved through dialogue. It is not every matter that must be decided through the law courts. Kanu's matter can actually benefit from
BKO.
A political solution. Nigerians and our people in the Southeast would do well to remain in Nigeria because they are useful in Nigeria, and I want to believe that in Nigeria they stand the chance to be whatever they want to be. I also reckon that there are many things that need to change in terms of embracing the people of the Southeast, making them feel that, look, they are not being punished for the civil war that happened more than 40 years ago. They have to be treated as people that we want as people of Nigeria. So my view is that, as the president promised during his campaign, he is going to find a political solution to the problems in the Southeast. The violence in the Southeast will naturally come down, and the Nnamdi Kanu matter will get a political solution. This is what I've always wanted. This is what I want to see. And in the fullness of time, I'm confident that we'll come to this. But Nnamdi Kanu has to also make concessions. He has to give up his armed struggle. He has to commit to the Nigerian state, and hopefully the charges will be dropped.
That's right. That's right. Let me quickly take two of these comments that we have here, because we have two other topics to quickly treat in the course of this program. Marvin Odita says, why is Tinubu inheriting Buhari's fight by detaining Nnamdi Kanu? Tinubu can tell the Attorney General of the Federation to stop the case against Nnamdi Kanu. Oluchukwu Kletters says, good evening, the maestro himself. I carefully listened to the president of Ohaneze Ndigbo on the Igbos and the Yoruba issue. We are one, as Kletters from Ogun State. That's about the two topics we want to take. I mean, the two comments we want to take on this particular issue, so we can move on quickly, BKO. The Naira plunged to a record low of 1,160 Naira against the dollar on the official market on Friday, before it rebounded to 800 Naira, nearing the rate it trades at the unofficial parallel market, which was about 1,165 Naira. it does appear that the more the CBN tries to resuscitate the Naira, the more it's impacted on by, the external shocks. PKO.
Yes, and these are big problems inherited by this administration. For so long, we were living a lie, deceiving ourselves, but certainly not deceiving the international community. In the past, the CBN used to support the foreign exchange market with as much as $1.5 billion a month, or sometimes even more. But we now have a situation in which they barely fund that market with more than $200 million a month. So definitely, we will continue to have illiquidity. It is this illiquidity that is fueling this descent of the Nigerian currency. We do not have the kind of buffers that we had many years ago when we could defend our currency aggressively. We no longer have those buffers. Remember, we were led to believe that we had more than $33 billion in our foreign reserve, only for us to discover that we didn't even have up to $5 billion. In fact, it was speculated that we actually had $3.3 billion. So, in such a situation, we are bound to face the problems that we are facing. And frankly, subsidizing the forest market by as much as 3.4 billion at some point, we can no longer continue to do that. What we need to do is improve production. We are a big consumer nation. We produce little or nothing for export. And you see states that are in position to actually do well in terms of agri production and attendant value chains. They are not paying attention to that. So we have a situation in which we are not earning enough foreign exchange. Now, the last thing that people want to see is for the official window, that is the import and export window, to be close to the parallel market in terms of how much people are paying to buy the dollar in terms of the exchange rate. I mean, in terms of the exchange rate. The closer the gap between the official rate and the unofficial rate, the better for everyone, because it will stop round tripping. It will stop some of the sharp practices that are happening. The situation in which people access the dollar at the official rate and take it to the parallel market to sell because the gap is so wide. We have to do something about that. We have to do something about that. Now, the other problem is that the CBN has actually been delaying the clearing of outstanding foreign currency amounts owed in forward deals. The other day, the CBN announced that it had repaid some banks what was due to them. These forward deals, we have no choice. We have to clear the backlog of these forward deals before we can be in a better position to fund. Before the CBN can be in a better position to fund the forex market, because the CBN is simply not doing enough along that line. The more the CBN funds that market, the greater Nigerians will have access to foreign exchange. Where they do not want this sufficiently, definitely the demand will be so unbearable, and the naira will continue to slide against the dollar and other currencies, and the cost of imported goods will continue to go up. The the decline of our currency has worsened inflation in the country. If you want to buy anything foreign now, it is extremely costly to buy anything foreign now because of the exchange rate. And this has also created instability in the economy. The CBN must continue to take steps that will not just show up the value of the naira, but create some stability in the economy. The way things are now, the official market does not in any way even reflect the true value of our currency, and people are not taking the official market seriously. More and more people see the parallel market as more reflective of the current value of our currency. Imagine the official market, imagine the naira uh, trading against the dollar at 1,160 on a day that in the parallel market it traded for 1,165 to a dollar. That is really terrible to see, because it means that the gap has narrowed, but in a negative sense. We have to improve liquidity. When we improve liquidity, of course, the value of the currency will go up, because this whole thing is a function of demand and supply, where people are looking seriously to find dollars to pay for school fees of their children, to pay the school fees of their children abroad, to pay for Medicare abroad, to buy raw materials for manufacturing companies and all that. Definitely the value, to affect the value of our currency. And of course, remember, even we are still importing PMS, premium motor spirit, petrol. We import aviation fuel. So if our refineries were working, if all our refineries were working, and with the coming of the on stream of the Dangote refinery, that large chunk of foreign exchange that we devote to importation of petrol, we will not have to devote that large chunk of foreign exchange to importation of petrol, because importation of petrol will have stopped. So, which means we can then use the dollars that we earn, we can then find other productive use for them, and there will be greater liquidity. People will be able to access foreign exchange a lot more. A situation in which the bulk of what we earn, we use to import petroleum products is not beneficial to the country at all. And our currency is taking a real beating against the major currencies of the world, including even the CFA, which is the currency of our neighbors. Generally, our currency is doing badly. And this means that this current CBN governor has to sit down and come up with policies that will make even transaction of forex business more transparent, and also work towards improving on liquidity in the forex market. I hope that we can clear those forward deals. We can clear the backlog of those forex deals, so that we can now devote a lot more of foreign exchange in the custody of CBN to funding the forex market, of
That's
making
right.
forex available in the official I&E window.
That's right.
So, so that's what we want to see. I can understand why it is a priority to the government to clear this the backlog of these forward deals, because it damages our reputation as a
Mikhail,
country.
that's right.
If people cannot repatriate their funds, look at the airlines, those foreign airlines, they are not happy with Nigeria because they've not been able to repatriate their funds. So for us to show to the world that we are ready for business and that we are serious people who should be taken seriously, I understand why we want to clear the backlog of those forward deals, so that, and I'm sure that by the time we've cleared them sufficiently, we will have a lot more foreign exchange available to fund the official foreign exchange market. But even at that, we must improve production.
Right, Mikhail.
We must improve production as a country.
Let me quickly read this comment and then go to the last topic. Kleto Zoluchukwu from Ogun State says the idea of allowing market forces determine our currency and floating the Naira, these are not two good plans. Fabian Akaize says President Bola Tinubu made a mistake by appointing Yemi Cardoso. BAT had the chance to choose a competent Nigerian without ties to the ruling party. Enough of the media trial of Emefiele. Nelson Adefe says, my maestro, what's the way forward on all these evil befalling our Naira? All these stories will not take us anywhere. Okay, I think he had already spoken to that, but I want you to quickly react to this, something that looks more like, let me just read it and then you react very quickly to it. We need foreign exchange and also to cut down on wasteful spending. Yet, President Tinubu took over 1,400 people for a conference in Dubai. The government has learned nothing yet. And Musbao Shokunbi, that Honorable Musbao Shokunbi now says, reacted to him, said that, why don't you do your findings before speculation? How can a government take 1,400 people to Dubai for conference? This sounds more, and this is how fake news spread. I just wanted to address this, vis-a-vis the issue of fake news and how this affects, the way we process and, share information in this country. Very quickly, Bikil.
Fake news is undesirable. Fake news has been worsened by the fact that everyone now sees himself as a journalist, and the internet has given people the license, especially those who have Android phones or internet-enabled phones, to simply put something out there without anyone making them pay for their indiscretions. It's unfortunate, but there's nothing we can do about it. If you go on the internet, you will see many occasions when it was reported that Joe Biden was dead and all that. People continue to deceive their countrymen and women using all kinds of clickbaits so that they can get attention, they can make money and all that. So fake news is undesirable. But I believe too that our government has to be more prudent. We have to realize that we cannot be spending money like the previous administration did. These are difficult times, and if Nigerians are making sacrifices and we are telling them to be prepared to make more sacrifices, then we have to be more responsible in the way we spend money, in the way we use the resources available, especially at state and even federal level. Many of our leaders are still carrying on as if nothing has changed. But a lot has changed. The average Nigerian knows that a lot has changed. The increase in fuel prices has worsened inflation and made life unbearable for most people because it has led to high food prices. So, and the decline in the value of our currency has also made life unbearable for people in our country. So diesel is like 1,200, 1,250 per liter. Many Nigerians never imagined that we could get to that point. So people in government have to show greater sense of responsibility by being frugal at this time, saving money so that we don't go borrowing every time we need a little money. We have to save some money. And unfortunately for us, because of the value of our currency that has declined rapidly, the cost of servicing debt has gone up significantly because these debts are denominated in foreign currency. So the quantum of naira that you need to pay for debts has got to go up relative to the current value of our currency. Debts that we piled on at a time when the currency was around 360 naira to a dollar. We have to pay now when the naira exchanges to a dollar at more than 1,000 naira. So this is the time for government to sit up and be frugal and stop wasting money on things that Nigerians can see little benefit from.
So very quickly, I think the person, okay, Marvin Odita is trying to make us understand that the information, he got the information from People Gazette, said that after saying climate policy is bad for Nigeria, Tinubu takes over 1,400 delegates on multi-billion naira junket. Junket to Dubai COP28 conference. So he's quoting a source, People Gazette, and we know what some of these medium do to the psyche of Nigerians. Quickly, BKO.
It's not everything that we see on social media that we must believe. We must subject whatever we see on social media to filtration. We must check and double check. Check with the traditional media, check with the mainstream media. Sometimes too, a good number of newspapers can goof. It depends on who provided the information, but we have to be very careful. This is the era of fake news. People keep churning out fake news, believing that they will get away with it. And we're going to come up with laws that thoroughly criminalize fake news.
That's right.
And get people to realize that whenever
That's right.
they come up with fake news like that, they will pay for it.
Right. So very quickly, because of our time, and we need to just squeeze this in. Kaduna State government vows to castrate convicted rapists as contained in 2018 prohibition law. Do you think castration is enough punishment for these sexual criminals? And what do you think will be the ripple effects if this type of, ripple effect of this type of sentence?
No, the thing is, every society or country comes up with the law that best fits the situation that they found themselves. There was a rape epidemic in Uganda some time ago. The president had to come up with the death penalty because people came up with the wrong assumption that if they were suffering from HIV and they raped a virgin, it automatically purifies them against HIV. It automatically washes away the HIV virus in their system. This stupid thinking led to people gunning for virgins and raping them. And the government had to come up with a law that took a very dim view of rape. Today, rape and even HIV prevalence has gone down in Uganda. One law may fit Lagos but may not fit Anambra State. One law may fit Yobe in the northeast and may not necessarily fit Kaduna. One law may fit Kano but may not fit Taraba. So In the case of Kaduna State, they are worried about the prevalence of sexual and gender-based violence, and they believe that one way by which they can achieve this is to um, punish rapists with surgical castration. And I do not see anything wrong in coming up with this. You know, even women who also get involved in rape will undergo bilateral salpingectomy. Bilateral salpingectomy. That's what the women go through. What is important is crime must be punished. A society that doesn't promise crime would suffer irreparably, because when people believe that they can get away with crime, they get encouraged to continue to commit crime. So I believe that it's a good idea, because once a man is castrated, he's not in position to commit that kind of crime again. The idea of punishment is for you to serve as a lesson to you. Yes, it looks odd, it looks unwholesome, but if you imagine the damage that they cause to victims of rape, honestly, even if they come up with death penalty for rape, many people will not kick against it, because no right at all. And I think that there's nothing wrong with the law. It's the implementation that may be the devil. I mean, the elephant in the room. How do they enforce it? I don't know if, since they came up with the law, if they've ever had to implement it. I know that some time ago, Zamfara came up with amputation of chiefs. There was only one guy that was reported to have had his arm amputated for stealing. I don't think after that they did anything like amputating anyone. But by even hearing that you stand the risk of being surgically castrated for rape, I believe that many people will turn away raping women. People just grab every opportunity to rape women. Women get marooned on a very bad road, trapped on the road for days, and people came out of the neighboring village and began to rape those women who are trapped, along with other passengers on the Tronque Highway in Ekiti State. This sort of thing is very distressing. Why would you rape anyone? Why? So I believe that we have to condemn rape in its entirety, and our laws must punish rape sufficiently. As a person, I may not see this as the best form of punishment.
That's right.
But will not go against it. I will not condemn the state government for coming up with this, because, as I said, some states punish kidnapping with death, especially if the victim dies in your hands. Some states punish kidnapping with life imprisonment. States will come up with what fits them, with what they believe will best assist them in bringing down the rate of crime. And if Kaduna believes that this is the best way they can bring down the rate of rape, bring down the incidence of rape in their state, I have nothing against it. I can only wish them Godspeed.
That's right. Fabian Akaize says the problem is not enacting the law, as we have seen in Nigeria. the issue is with enforcing the law. How many guilty Nigerians are walking the streets free, strengthening the institutions and not the man? Aliu Yusuf says, JIDE, I strongly believe that penalty for rape in Kaduna will remain on paper. Governors don't even sign death penalty of criminals, not to talk of this one, of the one of castration. Well, that's about it, BK. You have something to say to that?
Yes.
Very quickly. We should go now.
Yes, I agree with him, and that's why I said the devil is in the implementation. How often have we seen this implemented? You know, people should also not come up with laws that they are not sure of its implementation. So I think it's right. It's right because I've not read anywhere that the state implemented the castration. And as I said about Zamfara, the Sharia law prescribes amputation of. I think they just wisely stopped carrying out that punishment.
Above all, I think it's enough for Nigerians to come together and agree on certain terms of, ways and manner we would like to deal with, issues that are affecting us, affecting our people, affecting our children and women. And that's our show for today's edition of Issues with JIDE. Special thanks to you, Babajide Kolade-Otitoju, for those insightful analyses, as always.
Thank you, Ibrahim. Thank you to our loyal viewers. God bless you. Approaching the end of the year. Wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
And thanks to you too, as BK has said, our audience, for joining us on every edition. You can see the program again anytime by subscribing to our YouTube channel, TVC News Nigeria. Click on the subscribe button to get the latest information. You can also follow us on our social media platforms at TVC News NG. I'm also at Ibrahim TVC News. On behalf of the rest of the team, I'm Ibrahim Shita. See you again next edition. Bye for now.